Hi guys, okay, continuing in the Silver Wolves series talking about the hot tent. Here is the tent from ONEWIND. Now I have not taken this out, unrolled it, nothing. All I did was pull it out of the box. That's been it. I can tell you right now it's probably about 6-8 pounds. This is not going to be an ultralight backpacking, but as Silver Wolves we're more interested in car camping and all anyway. You could carry it, but it's heavy. You know, compared to what I was thinking of silk nylon, it has got coatings and stuff on it to make it fire resistant and hold heat better, and that's made it a little bit heavier. So let's see what we got. Now the only thing I've done is I've gone right here and put up my Ridgeline already. I don't know how high I need to put it. I'm learning with you right here. It's got a compression bag that it comes with, which is a nice feature. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to pull it out. Put that right there. You can see zipper. Roll it out. There's the smoke flap right there with 2 Velcros on it. And it's got the accessory bag with all the ropes and everything. The first thing I'm going to do is put this up on that Ridgeline, and let's get an idea of how high it needs to hang. Now when you get these, they got a smell to them. That's fireproofing and everything else. So you're going to need to air it out for a couple days. This is true of all the tarps and everything thus far that I've found. Okay. And this is, in addition to be a hot tent, just a huge tarp. So let's see what we got. Okay, that's the center. Okay, upon closer inspection I see that the center top has a tie-out. This thing is set up for a Ridgeline to be run tight above it. So you're going to thread your Ridgeline through the center tie, lift up, and then put up your Ridgeline, and then I'm going to use grommets to pull it from there, okay, with my quick deploy Ridgeline. So if you want it on the outside, you're going to need to run it through that center tie and put your 2 tie-outs up there. If you're wanting to run it on the inside, you're going to have to thread it through those zipper openings on either end first, okay? Like that. Wow, that's a big tarp. All right, now we're going to zip down, zip the door closed so we can figure out where to put the four corners. And never having set this thing up, this is a learning experience just like for you. But I know how to set up a wall tent. All right, get all the way to the bottom. Now let's pull out some tent stakes. You put your Ridgeline up, you put your tarp on the Ridgeline, then you zip your doors closed and pull out the 4 corners tight. Then you worry about the others. It comes with a wad of cords right there, and guy lines and patches. That's good. All right, let's see what we got. Right now I'm going to take 4 tent stakes and do the corners. Trying to center it up straight down from the top. So you anchor that down, and then you have pull-out points to pull the corners out, like this. So let's get some lines and stakes and get that staked out, and then I'll be back with you. Okay. I didn't like the ridgeline being on top. Just don't like the way it is. So I rehooked it and ran it through the inside. Now, I'm going to give you a close-up when I do a walkover and the whole thing. But the zippers come all the way in. There's this big extra piece right here. You have to go under that. Now what this has is it's got 3 zippers, and that way you can zip it up and down and have the straps of your hammock go through it. And as the hammock straps sag and come up, they zip it open and close to keep it tight around the straps. So I will look at this more in depth, a little closer, and work out maybe a little bit else. But what we've got right now is the basic size of this thing, which is huge. This is a wall tent. I can walk upright inside of it. Okay, now we're going to make it even bigger by grabbing and pulling out the side lockers on it to give you more of the wall shape. And for that, we're going to need our lines and more stakes. Now it comes with also a bunch of these quick deploy bungees, and I'll work them out a little bit later. And this is what eventually this is what you use for your guidelines to tighten up with, and etc. But for right now, rather than take the time to do that, I'm just going to pull out my sides and tie them right quick, and then we'll go from there. So let me pull out the sides and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm going to freehand this, so it's going to be a little bit shaky. There is the complete hot tent set up. Now let me give you a little walk around right quick of it. And I could really pull this side right here out a little bit tighter, to be honest. But there's the smoke flap jack, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Right there. You have your corner bottom ties, and this is not in the very end, because as you see it wraps around. So when you zip, and this zipper, and the doors have these loops on them as well, where you could use this for a big giant tarp. Now what I was talking about, the zipper, see how the zipper comes to the outside like this? Well, it's so you got 3 zippers. You got the one here, the one here, excuse me, one here, and the one all the way at the bottom down there. You can see it will shine. Alright, now what I've done is on the far side, I just tucked it into the inside. I'll probably secure that a little bit later. Now you've also got the side tie outs right here, 2 sets of them. And then down lower you got another set of them. And then you got your corner right there. And it's got a little bitty black stretchy cord on it. You got one in the center right there, so you can stake this thing all the way around. And then on the center top right there, you can see that tab sticking up. That's where you could run this with an external ridge line or a ridge pole if you want to. I prefer internal ridge lines. It puts less wear and tear on those grommets, because the tent is actually, the load is on the ridge line instead of on those tabs holding everything up. And in wind, it just holds up better. But now let me show you this end. What I did was I simply took that big piece of extra zipper and folded it to the inside. That plugs up that hole really well. And that's the zipper, you know, up and down, etc. You see, there's the zipper piece I pushed inside. And then in here is the voluminous area for the hammock and etc. That's easily wide enough right there for a cot sideways along the back wall. And then you got plenty of room for your hammock going down the middle and gear and everything on either side. Now, before we get in there, and of course it zips up tight, as you can see, that far wall zipped up all the way. And so you're going to be very weather protected. Take leaves or something and fill up that gap at the bottom to block wind blowing under the bottom. And this thing's going to be very snug. Now, let me set you back up on the tripod and we're going to look at the smoke insert. Okay, along the bottom edge, there's a heavy piece of Velcro. And you see there's a framed out square of Velcro from the inserts. Also on the inside there's these little toggles. That's so you can take the flap and roll it up. Although from experience, I would tell you roll it to the underside, because when it rains it'll catch and hold water. So roll it to the underside. Learn that from wall tents. And then once you get it up there tight, take that loop, come over and put that loop and that toggle together. This of course being brand new is a little bit fiddly, but I'm sure with a little bit of time and effort, there we go, it'll come up where it's easy to do. Push the toggle through and hook the back corner. Like that. Okay, that leaves you with the smoke hole right here. Now it comes with two separate inserts. One is simply a clear rain insert that you could put up there whenever you're during the summer when you're not going to be using this for smoke. Another one is the smoke hole insert, which goes on just like that. Just reach in the hole and make sure the Velcro hooks all the way around. This is a fireproof insert right there. And then your stovepipe's going to come through that. I've got my stove with me, and we're going to set that up right quick and take a look at it. But that will allow me to use this during the summer months and as just a wall tent for the wife to have privacy and stuff, or if I want to use it. And at the same time, not have that big opening up there for rain or blowing. That clear snapping on will take care of that and make it to a minimum. This way I've got two choices of smoke flap. Now, let me get the front doors pulled back. I will put the stove in place to see what it's going to look like and get my chair in there and let you see what the inside looks like. Okay, I have unzipped the doors and pulled them back, and along the edge of the doors you got these reinforced tie-outs for when this is going to be used just as a great big huge tarp. What I've done is it comes with these teeny tiny carabiners. I hooked it to one of these tabs and come over here and just hook it to the guy line that's coming off the side, as you can see right there, to hold the doors open. That way you can open it up for just to pass through in and out. Now, let's set you right here. I believe you can see down in there pretty good. Just slide and tear down just a little. There we go. Alright, fully standing up. I got to just duck my head a little bit and I can walk in. You can get an idea of the size of this thing in here. This is a regular sized chair that I'm sitting in, and I cannot touch the peak. I've got it set at about 6 feet high or so right now, maybe a little over 6 feet, 6'1" maybe. And so even with my hat on, I'm just barely touching the roof as I walk in. It's easily wide enough for a cot to be put in here. I'll pull the camera in a bit closer. So, here's my wood stove right here. Now, I've got more pipe coming. This isn't enough because it is just barely clearing it. And I'd want at least another 2 or 3 feet. I got 4 feet coming. So I will add to that to have my wood stove in here. I'm out behind the range again, so don't be concerned. Nobody's shooting at Blackie. But guys, I'm impressed. The sheer size of this thing. Utilizing the zippers, which when I set it up next time and I'm putting a hammock in it, I'll demonstrate that. But what it is, you got 3 zippers. You take the first zipper and you zip the whole door closed. Now you take the second 2 zippers and you zip them down and zip them open to run the strap that holds your hammock to the outside. Okay? The zipper on top and the zipper on bottom, you take one of those small carabiners and hook the hole in the zipper tab to each other. That way, when you get into it and it starts to sag down, it will zip and unzip down to where you're at. When you get when you get out of the hammock, it'll climb back up, and that way the zipper keeps the doors closed, and you don't have to have a big wide gap, and keep the heat in a little bit. Seal up the edge like I said with leaves, and then right here up under the stove on that side, I will probably take one of those sections of pipe and put it going under the edge. So I got a 3-inch diameter air hole coming in right behind the stove to provide fresh air to the stove. The problem that you have with any kind of wood source, fire source inside of an enclosed space is you have to keep oxygen moving around, otherwise gases build up. This is true of anything. Now, if the stove seals up well, and we'll find that out whenever we do the first burn, if not, I'll caulk it to make sure it does. I want the combustion to happen inside the firebox and then the smoke to flow up the stack. It's got a double wall construction, so air flows in from the outside, goes up, and at the very top of the combustion chambers where it comes in with a set of holes to go out the top. That's going to prevent it leaking gases and stuff around, because everything's flowing outward. Okay. After my initial review, I got time to really look at this thing with my glasses on and realize it is a double wall construction, where at the base of the stove on either side there's these cutouts. Air comes in, runs between the double wall because of heat, and then comes into the top of the fire chamber, right up underneath this top cover, where it mixes with that air and then will flow right out the pipe. So it's constantly going to keep air coming out of here. It will suck a little air around the leaves at the bottom. That's fine. At the very pinnacle where the ridgeline goes, there's about a 2-inch opening. Remember I pushed that zipper up into? That's so it can suck fresh air in. You want it to hold heat in here, but a constant roll of air flowing outward of that stack to keep you building up any kind of gases or stuff like that. But we'll deal with that whenever we fire up the stove one day and talk about that. That'll be a separate whole video just on how to run a stove one. But all in all, guys, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a lot bigger than I was expecting, to be honest. I wanted it just big enough to put a cot in. You can put a cot across here and a cot on either side. You can put 3 cots in here and just come in and out the center and have 3 people sleeping in this thing. Or, for one blackie, I would unhook my hammock during the day on one end, roll the hammock up, and then sit it back here against this back wall. And then have my chair and my stove where I could sit in here and work on projects or whatever during a real cold, bitter day. And just keep the fire going nice and low, adding a little stick or two to it. You could cook on this, heat up chow on this. All in all, a really good idea. I have run canvas wall tents before with a wood stove, and so I'll impart that information to you as best I can with this. But this ONEWIND hot tent, I'm pretty impressed with it. Now, in the description box, I'll put the information for how to find this ONEWIND hammock on Amazon. ONEWIND hot tent on Amazon. There's 2 of them. And so I'll put the one that I got right here on it. And if the link don't work, just cut and paste it into the description box on Amazon. It should take you right to it. Okay. The price of this was $1.99 for this tent. So thinking of it as a giant tarp for me during the summer, being able to open it up and have a huge A-frame in inclement weather, that's going to be awesome. Leaving one side down and bringing one side up like a porch, and then my hammock right here in good weather, that'll be awesome. It's thicker than the standard seal nylon and may give me a little bit more UV protection. We will see. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit that like button before you go. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.